archives. Is this Magnus Sparrow from the Sparrow Mill family? First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the mill history of Harney County. The Sparrow family, oddly enough, was one of the very first milling families to start up a mill operation in the county. He came in 1887 in partnership with another fellow, and they established a mill in the forest to the north of town. They were one of probably about a dozen small mills that operated in the area. Most of the early mills in Harney County were located in the National Forest land to the north of Burns, which had one of the largest continuous stands of ponderosa pine in the western United States. In the very earliest days, the loggers used oxen and teams of horses to haul the logs out of the woods. The next step in the history of milling in Harney County came when the Edward Hines Lumber Company moved into the area. They purchased a timber sale called the Bear Valley Timber Sale from the Forest Service shortly after it was established in 1907. They brought in technology, which hadn't been here before, and established a huge sawmill in Hines. Prior to the coming of the Edward Hines Lumber Company, all the logging was done with horses and oxen. The Edward Hines Company brought in the railroad, which revolutionized the amount of timber that they could cut and the distance from the mill that they could cut it. Part of the original contract stipulated that the Hines Mill Company build a railroad from the closest point, which at that time was in Crane, all the way into Burns. That was the first established railroad into the interior of southeastern Oregon at that time. At the time the Edward Hines Lumber Company was constructed and opened in 1930, it was the most high-tech sawmill in the entire world. The Edward Hines Company prided themselves on using the most up-to-date technology. At the time the mill was constructed, once a log entered the sawmill from the log pond, it was undercover the entire time up until it was loaded on the rail cars and shipped out. The Edward Hines Company initially started with a 50-year cutting plan, and that's pretty much the length that the company was able to maintain its business here in Oregon and in Hines. At that time, at the end of 50 years, the lumber market changed substantially, technology changed substantially, and the Hines Company found it in their best interest to move out. When the Edward Hines Lumber Company was in operation, it was probably one of the largest employers in the county. For over 50 years, it employed multiple generations of families and provided the economic stability that kept our county going. As the Edward Hines Lumber Company went defunct, so did a number of other lumber companies that depended on small gauge railroads for their livelihood. And this opened the door for researchers like Thomas Armstrong, who was very interested in railroads as a boy. Thomas Armstrong dedicated his entire life to researching railroads. His final project before he passed away was researching the history of the Edward Hines Lumber Company and their railroad. After his death, his family decided that all of his research needed to be in the community where it was based. Thomas's years of research culminated in 2 extensive unpublished manuscripts that are available here in the Western History Room for anyone to come look through and read. We hope at some point to maybe make these available online. We do have a number of other resources that are available online if you're interested in learning more about the logging and railroad history in Harney County. Our oral history collection contains over 500 transcripts of local residents from Harney County, including a number of transcripts talking about the railroad history. You can find those on our website and read those for free. If you prefer to read physical books, the Harney County Library also has a number of local books on logging history and railroad history that you're welcome to come in and check out. All of the information that we've just talked about is available for the public to come in anytime that we're open and look through in person. You're also free to make copies, and we're willing to work with anyone who wants to do serious research. If you're interested in learning more about the history of Harney County or any of the things we talked about, you can find it all pretty much on our website, either as actual documents that you can read or as indexes to the resources that you can look up here in person. You can also check out our Facebook page, where we put pictures and just little snippets of interesting local history. There was something really strange about that Sparrow family. They first came here as outlaws during the gold rush, and then later they built up their timber mills.